In the depths of despair, a voice echoes through the ages offering comfort and hope. The words of Psalm 34 remind us that even in our darkest moments there is a light that shines. Have you ever felt alone, as if the weight of the world rests solely on your shoulders? Imagine the relief of knowing that help is just a prayer away. This psalm invites you to taste and see the goodness that surrounds you even when life feels overwhelming. As you journey through your day, consider the power of gratitude. How often do you pause to reflect on the blessings you have? What if in your moments of struggle you could shift your focus to gratitude and find peace? Each line of this powerful psalm calls us to seek refuge in something greater than ourselves. It's a reminder that when we cry out, we are heard. This is not just ancient text, it's a lifeline for anyone feeling lost or overwhelmed. Stay with us as we explore the profound truths of Psalm 34. Let its words wash over you, igniting a spark of inspiration and perhaps a renewed sense of hope. Can you feel the shift already? The authorship of Psalm 34 is traditionally attributed to David, a central figure in the history of Israel. Understanding the context in which David wrote this psalm can provide valuable insights into its themes and messages. At the time of composing Psalm 34, David was fleeing from King Saul, who sought to kill him out of jealousy. This period of his life was marked by intense fear and uncertainty, but it was also a time of deep reflection on his relationship with God. During his flight, David found refuge in the land of the Philistines, specifically in Gath, where he pretended to be insane to avoid capture. This experience of vulnerability and the constant threat to his life likely influenced the psalm's tone and content. David's circumstances were dire, and his desperate need for God's protection and guidance is evident throughout the text. This historical backdrop provides a lens through which we can understand the urgency and sincerity of David's words. In addition to the personal turmoil David faced, the psalm also reflects the broader struggles of the Israelite people during this tumultuous period. They were often at odds with surrounding nations and faced numerous challenges to their faith and identity. David's experiences resonate with the collective suffering of his people, making the psalm a communal expression of trust in God amid adversity. David's journey from a shepherd boy to the king of Israel is marked by both triumphs and trials, and Psalm 34 encapsulates a moment of deep reliance on God. The psalm serves as a reminder that even in moments of despair one can find solace and strength through faith. By understanding the context of David's life, readers can appreciate the depth of his praise and the sincerity of his plea for divine intervention. Ultimately, the historical context provides a rich backdrop for interpreting Psalm 34. It invites readers to reflect on their own struggles and the ways in which faith can serve as a source of comfort and strength in difficult times. David's experiences, coupled with his unwavering trust in God, make this psalm a timeless message of hope and resilience. Before we dive into today's content, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you enjoy our videos and want to see more exciting content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It's the best way to support us and stay updated on all the new meditations and videos we share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for being part of our community, and now, enjoy the video. Psalm 34 is replete with central themes that resonate deeply with readers, especially those who are navigating their own challenges. One of the most prominent themes is the search for protection. Throughout the psalm, David emphasizes his total reliance on God for safety and refuge. This sense of urgency highlights the need for divine intervention in times of distress, a sentiment that many can relate to. Another significant theme in the psalm is the unwavering trust in God. David's declaration of faith serves as a powerful reminder that regardless of the circumstances, God is a steadfast source of support. This trust is not blind, rather it is rooted in David's past experiences of deliverance. His testimony encourages others to place their faith in God, fostering a sense of community among believers who share similar trials. Praise and worship also stand out as central themes in Psalm 34. David opens the psalm with an invitation to worship God, continually emphasizing the importance of gratitude in one's spiritual life. This call to worship acts as a powerful antidote to fear and anxiety, reminding the faithful that praising God can transform one's perspective even in challenging situations. Moreover, the psalm highlights the relationship between seeking God and finding comfort. David's repeated exhortation to seek the Lord underscores that those who earnestly search for Him will find solace and reassurance. This theme resonates with the idea that faith is an active pursuit requiring intentionality and commitment. Finally, the themes of protection, trust, praise, and seeking God intertwine throughout Psalm 34, creating a holistic view of what it means to rely on divine help. This multifaceted approach serves to deepen the reader's understanding of the complexities of faith, encouraging them to embrace these themes in their own lives as they navigate their personal journeys. The opening lines of Psalm 34 are a beautiful expression of David's commitment to praise God continually. He begins with a powerful declaration stating that he will bless the Lord at all times. This invocation sets the tone for the entire psalm, establishing a framework for understanding the significance of worship in David's life. It suggests that no matter the circumstances, praise is an essential part of a believer's existence. David's insistence on praising God at all times underscores the idea that worship should not be reserved for moments of joy or success. Instead, it should be a constant practice, especially during times of trouble. This perspective challenges readers to consider how they respond to life's ups and downs. By modeling a lifestyle of praise, David invites others to cultivate a similar attitude of gratitude regardless of their current situation. The importance of praise in the spiritual life cannot be overstated. Worship has a way of shifting focus from problems to possibilities, allowing individuals to see beyond their immediate challenges. David's example encourages believers to vocalize their gratitude, fostering a deeper connection with God. This practice of continual praise becomes a lifeline, providing strength and comfort in moments of distress. Moreover, the communal aspect of worship is evident in the psalm's invitation to others to join in praising God. David's call is not just personal, it extends to the community, creating a sense of unity among those who seek to honor God. This communal worship fosters a collective spirit of faith, reminding believers that they are not alone in their struggles and that together they can uplift one another through shared praise. Ultimately, the themes of invocation and praise in Psalm 34 serve as a reminder of the transformative power of worship. By establishing a habit of praising God, believers can cultivate a deeper relationship with Him, finding hope and strength even in the darkest times. David's heartfelt commitment to worship invites each of us to reflect on our own practices of praise and to consider how we can incorporate worship into our daily lives. Psalm 34 carries with it a reassuring promise of protection for those who seek the Lord. Throughout the psalm, David speaks of God as a refuge for the afflicted and a source of comfort in times of trouble. This promise resonates with anyone who has faced adversity or fear, reminding them that help is always available through faith. David's personal experiences of deliverance serve as a testament to the reliability of God's protection. The promise of protection is not merely a passive assurance, it is an active commitment from God to safeguard those who earnestly seek Him. David emphasizes that those who look to the Lord will find refuge, reinforcing the idea that divine protection is directly linked to a relationship with God. This connection invites believers to actively pursue God, trusting that He will provide safety and security. Moreover, the psalm underscores the importance of faith in experiencing this protection. David's words encourage readers to trust in God's ability to deliver them from their fears and troubles. This theme of trust is pivotal as it suggests that protection is not just about physical safety, it also involves emotional and spiritual well-being. By placing their trust in God, individuals can experience peace even in tumultuous times. David also speaks to the transformative power of seeking God. The act of turning to God in prayer and worship opens the door to experiencing His protection. This proactive approach emphasizes that believers are not mere spectators in their faith, they are active participants engaging with God and inviting His presence into their lives. This dynamic relationship fosters a sense of security that transcends circumstances. Ultimately, the promise of protection found in Psalm 34 offers comfort to those who may feel vulnerable or alone. It serves as a reminder that God is always present, ready to provide refuge for those who seek Him. David's testimony encourages readers to embrace this promise, cultivating a relationship with God that assures them of His unwavering protection throughout life's challenges. David's experience of liberation is a powerful testament to the transformative nature of faith. When he penned Psalm 34, he was reflecting on times of distress that felt overwhelming, yet he found solace in God's presence. This experience is relatable to many believers who go through their own trials. Just as David faced danger and anxiety, individuals today can find themselves trapped in situations that feel inescapable. The beauty of David's message lies in the assurance that through faith and reliance on God, liberation is possible. In David's life we see moments where his circumstances seemed dire, yet he was delivered. For instance, after fleeing from King Saul, he found refuge in God. This narrative of deliverance is not just an ancient story, it resonates with anyone who has experienced hardship. Whether it's a personal crisis, health issues, or financial struggles, the feeling of being trapped can be profound. David's assurance that God intervenes in times of trouble gives hope to those who feel cornered by their circumstances. Moreover, the act of sharing his experience serves as encouragement for others. When believers hear stories of liberation, it inspires them to trust in God during their own hardships. David's recounting of God's goodness fosters a sense of community among believers as they rally around shared experiences of divine intervention. This collective acknowledgement of God's faithfulness can strengthen the faith of many, turning personal trials into testimonies of hope and liberation. It's also important to recognize that liberation may not always come in the form one expects. For David, it wasn't just about being physically rescued, it was about spiritual release and peace. Likewise, for modern believers, liberation might mean changing one's perspective or finding peace within tumultuous circumstances. This spiritual aspect of liberation encourages a deeper relationship with God, where trust and faith become central to one's journey. Ultimately, the experience of liberation that David describes invites believers to reflect on their own lives. It encourages them to seek God actively and to share their stories of triumph over adversity. In doing so, they become living testimonies of God's power to liberate, fostering hope and encouragement within their communities. The condition of the righteous, as depicted in Psalm 34, presents a realistic view of the struggles faced by those who strive to live in accordance with God's will. David does not shy away from acknowledging that the righteous will encounter hardships. In fact, he emphasizes that difficulties are part of the journey. This honest portrayal helps believers understand that challenges do not diminish their faith, rather they are opportunities for growth and reliance on God. David's assurance that God is near to the brokenhearted offers immense comfort. It's a reminder that despite the trials, God's presence is a constant source of strength and support. When believers face adversity, knowing that they are not alone can provide the encouragement needed to persevere. This promise of divine proximity reassures the faithful that God sees their struggles and is ready to respond. Moreover, the notion that the righteous may suffer but will ultimately be saved reinforces the idea of hope. It teaches that while pain is part of life, it does not have the final word. Believers can take heart knowing that God is actively working on their behalf even when circumstances seem bleak. This perspective fosters resilience and encourages individuals to keep their eyes on the ultimate promise of redemption. David's message also instills a sense of solidarity among believers. When they recognize that the righteous share in suffering, it cultivates empathy and compassion within the community. It encourages believers to support one another, reinforcing the idea that they are all part of a larger family bound by faith. This connection can be a lifeline during difficult times, reminding individuals that they are not isolated in their struggles. In essence, the condition of the righteous serves as a reminder that faith is not a shield against difficulties but rather a guide through them. It invites believers to embrace their trials with the understanding that God's presence is always with them and that ultimately there is hope for deliverance and restoration. The theme of humility is woven throughout Psalm 34 as David emphasizes its significance in the life of a believer. Humility involves recognizing one's limitations and dependence on God. In a world that often values self-sufficiency and pride, David highlights that true strength comes from surrendering to God's will. This perspective encourages believers to approach their faith with a humble heart, seeking God's guidance in all aspects of life. David's life exemplifies the importance of humility. Despite being a king, he consistently acknowledged his need for God. This attitude of humility not only opened the door for God's blessings but also positioned David as a leader who was relatable and grounded. For modern believers, adopting a similar posture fosters a deeper relationship with God as it invites His presence into their lives more fully. Moreover, humility leads to a greater sense of peace. When individuals let go of the need to control every situation and instead trust in God, they experience a release from anxiety. This peaceful state allows believers to focus on their spiritual growth rather than being consumed by the pressures of life. Humility enables them to find comfort in God's promises, knowing that they are not alone in their struggles. Additionally, humility fosters community among believers. When individuals recognize their shared need for God, it breaks down barriers and encourages authentic connections. This atmosphere of humility promotes a sense of belonging and support as believers uplift one another in their journeys. The collective pursuit of humility can transform lives, creating a culture of grace and understanding. Ultimately, the importance of humility in Psalm 34 serves as a call to action for believers. It invites them to examine their hearts and attitudes, encouraging a posture of dependence on God. By embracing humility, they not only deepen their relationship with Him but also enrich their interactions with others, fostering a community rooted in love and mutual support. The concept of fearing the Lord may seem strange at first. After all, fear often carries a negative connotation. However, in the context of faith, fearing God means recognizing His power, authority, and holiness. It's about understanding that He is greater than we are and that He deserves our respect and reverence. This kind of fear is not about being terrified, instead it's a deep sense of awe that leads us to a more profound relationship with Him. When we truly grasp who God is, we begin to see the world differently and our actions start to reflect this understanding. Fearing the Lord also plays a crucial role in the pursuit of wisdom. In many religious texts, including the Bible, wisdom is often portrayed as a valuable treasure. The fear of the Lord is described as the beginning of wisdom, suggesting that a proper relationship with God lays the groundwork for making sound decisions and understanding life's complexities. When we align our thoughts and actions with God's will, we cultivate wisdom that guides us through life's challenges. This wise approach not only benefits us but also those around us as we become instruments of God's love and guidance in our communities. Moreover, fearing the Lord is closely linked to the idea of divine protection. When we respect and honor God, we open ourselves up to His guidance and care. The Bible assures us that those who fear Him have a safe refuge. This connection between reverence for God and His protective nature is a source of comfort for many believers. Knowing that God is watching over us and that we have His favor can help us navigate life's storms with confidence. We can face uncertainties with a sense of security, trusting that our Creator is looking out for us. Additionally, the fear of the Lord encourages us to live righteously. When we acknowledge God's greatness, we are more likely to align our actions with His desires. This alignment fosters a life characterized by integrity, kindness, and compassion. We become more aware of our choices and their impact on others, leading us to act in ways that reflect God's love. Living righteously not only honors God but also brings us inner peace and satisfaction, knowing we are fulfilling our purpose. In summary, the fear of the Lord is a profound concept that encompasses respect, wisdom, protection, and righteous living. It shapes our relationship with God and influences how we interact with the world. By cultivating a healthy fear of the Lord, we can experience the fullness of life He intends for us, grounded in His love and guidance. The promise of satisfaction for those who seek the Lord is a powerful affirmation found in Psalm 34. This assurance speaks to the deepest longings of the human heart. Many people chase after various things: wealth, success, relationships, believing these will bring them fulfillment. Yet the Bible teaches that true satisfaction comes from seeking God first. When we prioritize our relationship with Him, we discover that He meets our needs in ways we could never anticipate or achieve on our own. This promise of satisfaction is not merely about material wealth or comfort. It encompasses spiritual contentment and peace. When we are in tune with God, we experience a profound sense of fulfillment that transcends our circumstances. Life may still present challenges, but in our pursuit of God we find a source of joy and strength that sustains us. This joy is rooted in knowing that we are loved, accepted, and valued by our Creator, which is far more satisfying than anything the world can offer. Furthermore, the promise of satisfaction encourages us to reflect on our priorities. In a society often driven by consumerism and instant gratification, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The assurance that those who seek the Lord will lack no good thing invites us to shift our focus from temporary pleasures to eternal truths. By seeking God and His kingdom, we align ourselves with His purpose, which ultimately leads to a more meaningful and satisfying life. Living in the light of this promise also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we recognize that our needs are met through our relationship with God, we become more appreciative of His blessings, both big and small. Gratitude transforms our perspective, allowing us to see the richness of life even in the midst of trials. This attitude of thankfulness enhances our satisfaction and deepens our connection with God, reinforcing the cycle of seeking and finding fulfillment in Him. In essence, the promise of satisfaction for those who pursue the Lord is a reminder of where true contentment lies. It challenges us to reassess our desires and encourages us to invest in our spiritual lives. As we seek God wholeheartedly, we can trust that He will provide for us in ways that fulfill our deepest needs and desires, leading us to a life of abundant joy and satisfaction. The teachings of Psalm 34 offer valuable insights that can be applied to our everyday lives. One of the first steps in applying these lessons is to cultivate a habit of gratitude and praise. Just as David begins the psalm with a declaration of praise, we too can start each day by acknowledging God's goodness. Taking a moment to express thanks for our blessings, no matter how small, helps us maintain a positive outlook and deepens our relationship with God. This practice can transform our perspective and set a tone of joy and appreciation for the day ahead. Another practical application is to actively seek God in prayer and Scripture. Engaging with God through prayer allows us to bring our worries and concerns before Him, fostering a sense of peace and trust. Reading and meditating on Scripture, particularly passages like Psalm 34, helps us internalize God's promises and wisdom. By integrating these spiritual practices into our daily routines, we can strengthen our faith and gain clarity on how to navigate life's challenges. Building a supportive community is also essential in living out the principles found in Psalm 34. Surrounding ourselves with like-minded individuals who share our faith can encourage us to grow spiritually. Participating in a church small group or fellowship can provide opportunities for worship, study, and mutual support. When we share our experiences and struggles with others, we create an environment where faith can flourish and we can remind each other of God's promises and faithfulness. Moreover, embracing humility, as emphasized in the psalm, can significantly impact our interactions with others. Practicing humility involves recognizing our limitations and being open to learning from others. It helps us approach relationships with kindness and empathy, fostering deeper connections. By prioritizing humility in our lives, we reflect Christ's character and demonstrate the love of God to those around us. Lastly, we can apply the teachings of Psalm 34 by being intentional about sharing our experiences of God's goodness with others. Whether through testimony, acts of service, or simply being a listening ear, we can encourage those around us to seek the Lord. Our stories of faith can inspire and uplift others, creating a ripple effect of hope and encouragement. By living out these applications, we not only enhance our own faith journey but also contribute to the spiritual growth of our communities. As we wrap up our journey through Psalm 34, let's take a moment to reflect. This psalm reminds us that when we seek the Lord, He hears us and delivers us from our fears. Can you think of a time when you felt lost only to find comfort in His presence? God invites us to taste and see His goodness, urging us to trust in Him wholeheartedly. In your daily life, what steps can you take to deepen that trust? Remember, His promises are not just words, they are a source of strength and hope. So as you go about your day, carry this message in your heart: God is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Have you ever experienced His comfort during tough times? Share your stories in the comments below. Let this psalm inspire you to cultivate a spirit of gratitude and worship. How can you express your thankfulness today? Whether through prayer, a kind word, or a simple act of service, let's strive to reflect His love. Stay tuned for more uplifting content, and remember to subscribe for your daily dose of inspiration. Keep shining your light, and let's keep this conversation going.